Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's Josh. Always good to have you and always appreciate your support. I want to go ahead and say if you haven't yet, would love to have you subscribe to the channel. All you have to do is click that red button, subscribe. Why you do that is because you can get updated alerts. And so we're going to have a lot of good stuff coming up in the future. Also partnering with Cantor and Clark, who you can find on Twitter, who has years and years of experience in markets to bring some good, valuable content. So just be on the lookout for that. As always, I want to go ahead and just say everything I talk about is my own opinion. Do your own research. No financial advice here. And try not to buy the tops and sell the bottoms, which can be really hard and difficult. So that's why I always want to remind you about that in emotions, specifically with all this IEO and pumps going on recently with altcoins. And we'll talk about that. Bitcoin charts, it is being held in the meme triangle. It's consolidating. And so the more it consolidates as it moves sideways, the bigger and the harder the push that we're probably going to have when it comes to movement. I do foresee Bitcoin moving up. I don't think that it's going to move down. That would be a sick looking Bart if it did. I don't know. We already had a pullback here. Quickly, I'll go ahead and touch on that. I did put a chart out, and so after I did this has become quite prevalent on big YouTube channels. Some other people have been making similar charts of this. I did see it on Data Dash. And so when that happens, when you see so many people talking about this, when the majority think that there's going to be another 30% pullback soon that I brought up, it's probably not going to happen now. We did have a 26% pullback, which is a nice pullback. I think that we continue to move up after that. So most pullbacks that were at that amount of percentage, 26, 30% or higher in the uptrend, it took at least 2 to 3 weeks for the next major pullback. Typically 2 or 3 months, even between a lot of these, or even longer. I think that Bitcoin can certainly push up. What's the benefit of buying a pullback when you can? The benefit is, of course, as a move here, the potential gains, average of over 150% after buying a pullback until the next pullback in an uptrend. And so the last uptrend, we saw that. So just be aware of those pullbacks in the future. But because of that, a lot of people are talking about it now. I think Bitcoin could definitely move up. And so as far as the range goes, again, I'm a buyer until it breaks this. And definitely anything that breaks over 82.03 as far as the big, these higher time frames here, that's definitely very bullish. So if we see a bullish close above this, that's something I'm going to be watching for. Let's go ahead and look at Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance has certainly been moving sideways, slowly, higher lows here, which isn't always good for altcoins. The higher Bitcoin dominance, the worse typically altcoins perform. Because of that, we did see over the course of this past week a hard drop. And because of that hard drop, we did see some alts make some nice moves. But now we've been certainly pushing back up slowly. If we want to see alts continue to do well and you see dominance go down, that's just hands down how it's going to be. And so right now we're at some really risky, cautious areas for altcoins. I'll talk about that really quick. If Bitcoin does move up really hard, altcoins are going to bleed out. I think honestly we've been in a nice area as far as the last week or two when it comes to altcoins, but eventually all good things come to an end for a while. I do expect a nice alt type season, some nice gains in alts later in the summertime. Probably not right now. As far as altcoins, let's go ahead and talk about that. How about Zilliqa? Zilliqa, I did talk about, very bullish. And if you see, I won't sit here and defend myself in any way. It's holding support right now, which is great. I think as long as it stays above 241, that's a great thing because that's a high time frame support area. And also, too, that's a high volume node area that acts as support. So I do feel that it's going to stay here. So I believe they can move back up to the 270 range, about where I bought. Long-term hold for me regardless. We did see the high volume breakout. Anytime that happens, all-time record volume in the green, you need that needs to catch your attention regardless of what anybody says. And so still, I think that a lot of people ended up buying into this. Wasn't a bad buy. Again, it's holding support. And as long as this resistance flipped to support holds, it's bullish. And that's basically all I'm going to say about that. And we can potentially move up to over 460 sats. Right now, I'm still bullish on Zilliqa. We'll look at a couple others really quick. I think another one is the Cosmos coin, which is Atom. And when it comes to Cosmos, I think Cosmos fooled a lot of people as well. And so what happened was we had this trend line, which some people called it a formation that it broke out of. And if you see the long wick here, not necessarily bearish, but it is underneath the trend line for the most part now. But the good news, as far as on lower time frames, it's holding above the trend line, and it's actually sandwiched in between the trend line and the resistance here that you're seeing at the high volume node. And so if it can break above this resistance area, flip, it will push up. I do believe that we can see a nice push up to even around this area, 7,900 sats. And so the thing about Cosmos is somewhat price discovery as well. We did see some nice green volume. It is on Binance, so it gets a lot of attention. It is a newer coin that has not pumped yet. I don't consider this 7,000 to 9,000 increase in price after it was released on exchange. I don't consider that a pump. Okay, so I think that there was a nice price movement here. I do believe that it's going to pump hard in the uptrend in the coming months. So I have a lot of faith in Cosmos. I think that it's going to be a strong coin. It will be one along with Zilliqa that I probably invest in. And so just watch out for Atom or Cosmos. Let's talk about XTZ here. So XTZ is Tezos. Tezos, I'll go ahead and show you that it's been moving in a range, a rather large range. And so what we see here, where the current price is at that daily support. And so as long as it holds that daily support, we've got some weekly support underneath it. As long as it holds that, I believe that it can continue to move up, probably break this and move back up to even the previous daily resistance here. We did have a top resistance. I have that marked. Again, anytime you can flip a resistance and flip it to support, that is a good thing. What I'm watching for, where would I buy? I would certainly be a big buyer here around 1,600, 371 Satoshis. And so that's because that's been a long-term support. I would wait until that hit that, let it bounce a little bit, pay a little bit more, 16.5, 16.6 Satoshis, and let it ride back up. So that's a prime buying area. If it breaks below that, that's bearish as can be. So I don't think that that's going to be the case, though, because, again, Tezos has a pretty strong fan base. I like Tezos. I'm going to continue to do more research on it, but potential one that I'm going to watch long term. I do foresee it being a coin that can pump in the future as well long term and do well. So that's your support resistance areas where I'm a buyer at. And just watch those areas. Again, there's a lot of good stuff. You can become a really good trader if you're watching resistance and support. Chainlink is holding support. We saw Chainlink ride up pretty hard there on the daily. Nice, really nice push up. A lot of people are bullish on Chainlink. I like it as well. And if I were to just to show you here, I already marked that the support is holding. I foresee Chainlink holding the support. If it does break, it's going to break down to this next support area. I don't think that this is going to break. It's a high volume area, and that's around 12,877 Satoshis. We're currently around support around 15,671 Satoshis. I do foresee that this holds, maybe even volume going down, condensing, and then another push up. It all depends on Bitcoin. Again, I'm not bullish right now. I'm cautious when it comes to altcoins. So it's a cautious time, except for altcoins that come out on the market during these IEOs. And so just watch those. And as far as those IEOs, those are potentially something like Harmony One that you can buy and make some good profits off of if you end up buying the dump and then as it rides back up. That's the typical what seems to happen on Binance. So Chainlink, very bullish on it long-term hold, holding support here. If it does break down underneath this, it's going down under 1,300 Satoshis. And then the last one, of course, is the leader of all altcoins, which is Ethereum. Same flag formation as Bitcoin. This is the USD chart. I foresee it following Bitcoin, whatever it does. And so if Bitcoin moves up, I think that we could certainly see, ETH do the same thing. I haven't been following it very clearly. I don't think ETH has been a leader over Bitcoin, but again, they're very similar chart. So USD-wise, very similar. When it comes to the, this is what I wanted to show you here with the ETH BTC chart. I'm not bearish on this at all. That's because this is the bottom of Ethereum. Okay, the bottom, this is accumulation range. See all this? See the middle high volume node here? Even currently where Ethereum is based, see the nice green volume right here. So a lot of buying going on, a lot of accumulation going on for sure. And if you look at the all-time high, you know, back a while back, you know, 2018, 2017, we had some, this is BTC all-time high, okay? Not USD level. But I do foresee this being accumulation and then Ethereum moving up against the BTC chart over time. And because of that, the USD volume price will also go with it. So clear accumulation, high volume node. Just wanted to show you guys that. So I'm definitely not bearish on that. ETH is a good, I feel like it sees all-time highs, and we'll probably hit at least 1,500 to 2,000 to 3,000 in the next bull market. That's really it for me. The only thing I want to talk about is price discovery. RSR is the coin that I talked about earlier. So really quick, didn't mean to offend anybody. A lot of cool guys talked about RSR, but I have an issue, and we're seeing some divergence in lowering volume on a chart. So when it comes to price discovery, how do you know that a price is going to continue to pump or it's going to dump? And really just look at it. If price continues to move up like it did here, but yet volume continues to kind of move down and quiet down, very likely people are going to start to take profit, okay? So you had, 3x or so. So that was a prime time area for people to take profit. You can also use oscillators. You can also use some indicators. RSI is one of those. Again, this is for the last 14 closes, okay? And that's why it's 14. So you definitely only want to use the last 14 when it comes to any RSI. But this was clearly some divergence here. Of course, look what happened is at the next peak, it pushed down, and so did price. And so that's one way you can look at price discovery. RSR has some pretty good fundamentals. I mean, they're backed by the PayPal co-founder and Coinbase Ventures. And so as far as the price right now, currently at 40 sats, we have found nice support around this area, I think 36 Satoshis. And so if it does break below that, it's going to 34 Satoshis. I don't see it breaking below 34 Satoshis. So really anywhere between 40 to 34 is likely a decent price. Can it go below this? It certainly can, but my opinion is it doesn't. This is on Huobi, and so it's just not going to have as much liquidity or volume. I don't care what anybody says. Everybody and anybody is on Binance, and so that is when a coin is more likely to have a nice pump. And so that's why I talked about Atom earlier, or Cosmos, because it being on Binance is going to give it a nice long-term future when it comes to liquidity and volume. So I know a lot of people are buying this right now in hopes that Binance listed down the road. So we'll see about that. But that's just about price discovery, how you can determine if price is going to continue to pump or if it's going to dump when it comes to these new altcoins that have yet to hit all-time highs. We don't know what the price is, the potential is, and so that's how you want to read a chart. If you do have any questions, hopefully that was helpful. I am Josh, always happy to have you. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Be on the lookout for more videos. If you have any questions, follow me on Twitter, and always happy to help. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Thanks again.